Audio log. Personal recording. Date November 18th. Subject Claire H. I almost dated a serial killer, and she was a nurse. I want that on record clearly, because if I say it casually, people assume I'm exaggerating, and I'm not. If I'd ignored one small detail, one sentence she said in passing, I think I would have been next. Her name was Claire. We met at a friend's birthday party. She showed up late, still in her scrubs, hair tied back, smelling faintly like hospital sanitizer. She apologized for being quiet. Said she'd just finished a double shift in the ICU. Everyone instantly liked her. Calm, soft-spoken, that kind of competence that makes you feel safe, just being near someone. When she found out I worked in accounting, she smiled and said, "Oh, good, stable." I laughed. She didn't. Our first date was simple, coffee, after her shift. She talks about work carefully, no patient details, just general things about stress and long nights. But then there was something different in how she described death. Not cold, not emotional, measured. Families think it's always dramatic, she said, stirring her coffee. But most of the time it's quiet. It's just numbers drifting. Numbers drifting. I remember that phrase clearly. Most nurses I know describe it as heartbreaking, heavy. She described it like data. By the third date, I'd been to her apartment. Small, minimal, clean, but lived in. Framed nursing degree certification plaques. There was a locked drawer in the kitchen. Not odd on its own, but I noticed she kept the key on a thin chain around her neck. I joked about it. She said medications from work sometimes need temporary holding. I frowned. "That's not legal." She smiled. "It's not what you think." She didn't elaborate. The first red flag happened 2 weeks in. We were watching a crime documentary about hospital malpractice, a case involving a nurse who tampered with IV lines. I expected outrage, disgust. Instead, Claire tilted her head thoughtfully and said, "They only caught him because he got sloppy." That was the exact sentence. Not because he killed people, because he got sloppy. I asked what she meant. She shrugged. Patterns you can't cluster outcomes. That's how administrators catch on. Cluster outcomes. Administrators catch on. That wasn't commentary. That was strategy language. I started paying attention after that. She worked rotating shifts, but whenever we were together, she'd occasionally check her phone and smile faintly at something. I assumed texts from co-workers. Then one night she left her phone on the kitchen counter while she showered. I wasn't snooping. It lit up. News notification. Hospital under review after unusual increase in cardiac arrests. My stomach dropped. It was her hospital. Same ICU she worked in. The article said 5 patients over 2 months had experienced unexpected overnight cardiac events. All had been considered stable. Hospital administrators called it a statistical anomaly. Statistical anomaly. That phrase echoed against cluster outcomes. I didn't confront her. Not yet. I told myself I was being paranoid. A week later, I stayed over. Around 3 a.m. I woke up thirsty. She wasn't in bed. I found her in the kitchen, lights off, just the refrigerator glow. She was holding something small in her hand, a vial. When she saw me, she didn't flinch. She just calmly slipped it into that locked drawer. "Couldn't sleep?" she said. "What was that?" I asked. "Saline," she replied instantly. "Brought it home accidentally." Who accidentally brings home saline from an ICU? And why keep it locked? The breaking point came in our 5th week. We were having dinner as she mentioned almost casually. "One of my patients passed last night." I said I was sorry. She nodded. He was suffering. That doesn't make it easier, I said. She looked at me and then really looked at me. It does, she said softly, when you can control it. Control it. My chest tightened. I asked what she meant. She held my gaze for a long second. Sometimes nature just needs help. I felt something primal then, not logical, just wrong. I went home that night and did what I should have done earlier. I searched deeper. Public records, old employment history. She'd worked at 3 hospitals in 5 years, each departure labelled as personal reasons. At 2 of them, local news archives showed small blurbs about internal investigations into medical discrepancies. Nothing criminal, just unexplained shortages of certain cardiac drugs. Potassium, insulin, both lethal in the wrong dose, and easy to misattribute to natural decline in ICU patients. I couldn't breathe reading it. 2 days later, I ended it. I didn't accuse her, I just said I wasn't ready for something serious. She didn't argue, she didn't beg. She just watched me carefully, like she was recalculating. "Are you sure?" she asked. There was something beneath the question. Not sadness, assessment. "Yes," I said. Long pause. Then she smiled. Probably for the best. That was it. No anger, no emotion, just acceptance. 3 weeks later, she was arrested. The hospital announced an external review had uncovered irregular insulin administration during night shifts. Security footage showed her entering rooms without charting. A toxology re-examination on 2 recent deaths revealed abnormal potassium levels, inconsistent with documented treatment plans. The media called her the night shift nurse. They suspected at least 8 victims, possibly more. All stable patients, all coded during her shift. When the police searched her apartment, they found vials in a locked kitchen drawer. Insulin, potassium chloride, and detailed notes. Not diaries, charts, timelines, dosage variations, outcome windows, cluster avoidance intervals, cluster avoidance. She said it out loud once, and I hadn't understood. I replay our last conversation constantly, that steady look, that calm acceptance. And I can't stop wondering one thing. If I hadn't ended it, if I'd gotten sick one night, if I'd needed her help, if I'd trusted her completely, would I have become just another unexpected cardiac event? Because the scariest part isn't that she killed people, it's that she believed she was helping. And she was so very, very good at not getting sloppy.